Hey guys, this is Jason, and today I am finally reviewing Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, directed by Christopher McQuarrie, and once again stars Tom Cruise as Ethan Hunt. Also returning Simon Pegg, Ving, and Rebecca Ferguson from the previous films, as well as one original character from the very first film. In this film, Ethan Hunt learns about a new dangerous weapon called the Entity that can control dangerous stuff around the government, while someone from his past, known as Gabriel, played by Esal Morales, is trying to find the Entity before he does. And both Ethan, the rest of the IMF he's with, as well as a thief, played by Hailey Atwell, have to go and find this item that relates to the Entity before it falls into the wrong hands. Now, before I talk about how I feel about the film, let me just say, I know this review is a few weeks late. It's just that movies like this, Oppenheimer, and Barbie had tickets that got sold out real quick after they got released in theaters, but gratefully I managed to see Mission Impossible 7 in theaters. The Mission Impossible franchise for me is one of the best action franchises of all time. I think the first Mission Impossible film is really enjoyable. Granted, it has some things in it that don't hold up anymore, like how it portrays the internet back in the 90s, but I still have a lot of fun watching it. Now, Mission Impossible 2 2 is bad. That one is really boring for me. Now 3, I had a lot of fun with it. I really liked that film. Now 4, that one was the one that I really loved. That one was the one that made me a fan of the Mission Impossible franchise. And Rogue Nation is great, but I don't love it as much as Ghost Protocol. And Fallout just might be my favorite Mission Impossible film. I mean, for me, it's always been a tough one for me, which Mission Impossible film is my favorite. It's always been between Ghost Protocol and Fallout, and I was very excited for this film because Christopher McQuarrie, the director of Rogue Nation and Fallout, came back to direct this film and Dead Reckoning Part 2, which is scheduled to come out next year, and I really enjoy Dead Reckoning Part 1. Maybe not quite as much as Fallout. I kind of like Fallout just a little bit more, but this was still a lot of fun in the theater. First off, let's talk about the action because this movie might have some of the best action I have seen all year. There is a chase with Tom Cruise and Hailey Atwell handcuffed to each other, and they have to drive away from the main villains of the film, and a lot of that is practical. Like, as usual, Tom Cruise does a lot of his own stunts in the film, and it's very realistic. It's one of those chase sequences that I'm gonna think about for a while. There's also a sequence in a train, without giving anything away, that I had my hands and toes gripping when that was happening. Like, for me, that might be one of the most intense moments I have ever seen in an action movie. Now, this movie does relate to something that's supposed to be important to the main story, and it's something that nowadays people don't really like, and what I'm talking about is AI. It shows what terrorists could do if they get their hands on it by getting information from people and the government, and I thought this film pulled that off really well. I thought Hailey Atwell was really good as Grace, a thief that likes to pickpocket other people wherever she goes, and she's not experienced with going out in the field like Hunt and the other IMF agents are, but she has to stick with them so that they can stop Gabriel from getting this entity. And speaking of Gabriel, without giving anything away, he does relate to Ethan Hunt's past, and he's had a bad history with him, and Ethan wants him dead for whatever he did. The movie doesn't explain a whole lot about what he did, because I'm pretty sure they're saving that for Dead Reckoning Part 2. Now, when it comes to the villains in the Mission Impossible films, most of them aren't that great. Like, I will say, Philip Seymour Hoffman from the third film is easily the best one in this franchise, but the rest are either okay or just poorly written. Like, there were some that were close to being as good as him, but there were others where I thought they should have been written better. Now, there were times where I thought Gabriel was a threatening villain, and I thought the actor playing him did a really good job as the character, but the movie doesn't show like a whole lot to show that he's a threatening villain, and it doesn't show a lot about about his backstory with Hunt. But after what I got in this film, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing more of what he's like in part 2. This movie also kind of has some, I wouldn't say callbacks to the first Mission Impossible film, but some types from that film that do relate to this film, not just with the fact that Henry Czerny came back as Kittredge from that film, but it also has a few Dutch angles as well, just like the first film did, and that was unexpected, and I thought that was a pretty nice surprise, and I thought it worked for this movie. Now, if I have to get to some issues with the film, is, like I said, they don't really show a whole lot about Gabriel in the film, other than just like little hints of what he was like when Ethan knew him, but it's not that big of an issue because I am gonna wait until Dead Reckoning Part 2 comes out because I'm sure that movie's gonna explain more of that. And I will say there's a part in that chase scene I just mentioned with Hunt and Hailey Atwell handcuffed that's still an awesome scene, but there was one part in that scene where I was like, it's there for comedy's sake and it was funny, but when you think about it, you're like, no, that just wouldn't happen. I mean, it was funny, but that still wouldn't happen in real life. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 is, yet again, another great film in this franchise. Granted, it doesn't show a whole lot of Gabriel and what his backstory is. It does have some subplots hanging, but I'm not going to take that as a glaring issue because I am going to get more of that in Dead Reckoning Part 2 when that comes out next year, and I'm hoping that that film is awesome. I really want that to be a great conclusion to the Mission Impossible franchise if that's really gonna be the last one. If you love the Mission Impossible films and you were excited to see this film, then I hope you enjoy it when you do see the film, even though the movie's already been out for a few weeks and I'm pretty sure you probably already saw it and maybe thought it was as good as I thought it was. I'm gonna give Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 an A-. So guys, if you have seen Dead Reckoning in theaters recently, or when it first came out a few weeks ago, what did you think about it? Did you think it's one of the best films in the Mission Impossible franchise? Or do you think that this one was a downgrade and not as good as the others, and maybe as bad as Mission Impossible 2? Then let me know if you do actually feel that way about the film in the comments below. And as always, if you like this review, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Please subscribe to my channel. I need more subscribers. Please subscribe. Please hit that subscribe button. And again, if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing because it makes my channel grow. Hit the notification bell so you get notifications. Follow me on Facebook. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.